let's move over to the Real Housewives of New Jersey because, Jason, we got the reunion.
I can't believe it. And I can't believe how fast Jersey is going this season.
Oh.
Like, what are we? We're only on episode, 12 coming up this week? But what is that going to be, 17?
I don't know. I know that we're getting the wedding special soon, and also the reunion is going to be here before we know it. But we heard a lot of interesting things at the reunion so far. This is what's been spilled. Now, all about the Real Housewives. I believe her name is Roxanne. She's gorgeous. She runs allabouttherealhousewives.com. I believe she has another business, or she works somewhere else, because I've tried to get her to come on and she has a very intense schedule. If you look at her allabouttherealhousewives.com, she is definitely pro Teresa, not pro Melissa Gorga and Margaret Josephs and a few others, which you can tell based off of the articles that come out, which is fine. Everybody, you have some people who are Switzerland and you have some people who favor sides, right? But she posted a few things, and here's some of the things that she was talking about. Teresa Giudice, oh, that is a bad photo. Teresa Giudice she went on a little bit of a rant. You know, she started speaking in Italian and she started yelling at her brother, saying that her brother broke her heart, and she ended up walking off the set at the reunion, which is one of the things that Andy Cohen hates the most. On top of that, we had Gia Giudice, who was brought up at the reunion, and Andy Cohen got so annoyed with the entire cast because he could not get a word in, which is a typical reunion for Andy Cohen these days. But Joe Gorga swore up and down, allegedly, that Gia called him when she found out about the finale and what happened. She called him and said, I heard that Melissa cheated on you. You need to leave Melissa now.
Wow.
But they called Gia on the reunion floor, and Gia said, Tio Joe, I never said to leave Melissa. I asked you, would you please come to Mom's wedding? That was her rendition. Now, those are two totally different renditions of that story. One has everything to do with leaving Melissa, and one doesn't mention Melissa at all. Jason, as someone just watching the show, you don't have a bone to pick with any of these people. You don't have a side to pick that you favor. Who do you feel like is telling the truth here?
God, I don't know. You know, I really do feel that the children should stay out of adult business, whether Gia is an adult now or not. But we also have heard from the reunion that, like, a lot of people are going after Louis.
Yeah.
So well, I don't know what to think with this. You know, here's the thing is, like, I know people are it's very polarizing when you're Team Teresa or Team Melissa, right? Everyone has an opinion on this. I do not have an opinion. I like them both. I don't know. I really don't know. Is Joe, would Joe lie about that? I mean, that rumor has been running around all season. Well, it is now.
Well, my question is Joe's being accused of lying about a lot, and I don't know, the people who are accusing him of lying are the closest to Teresa. So this is where it gets a little bit sticky, because Dave Canton, who is married to Dina Manzo, said, do you remember when they were walking around their home while it was being built? And he said, I talked to David. He does not like being called David. He mentioned that too when he spoke out about this. But he said, I talked to David. David and I had a conversation about how Louis fucked him over in a bad business deal. Well, Dave recently came out and said, I deal in cars. He deals in marketing. Those two don't go together. Have you seen a car commercial? But that's okay. We're not even going to touch that. My point is, he said, I don't know him like that. I'm friends with Teresa and Louis. We double date. We hang out with each other. We went to Greece. We never had a bad business deal. So that was like one check against Joe. But then also maybe Dina and Dave are trying to protect their relationship with Teresa, and they don't want anybody to take advantage of that for a storyline on the show. But then let's go over to the reunion. Then Joe was saying, your daughter called me and told me to leave my wife because of a rumor that you guys started. And Teresa's like, my daughter didn't call you. And he's like, can we get Gia on the phone? Can we squash this right now? We call up Gia. Gia answers the phone. Andy Cohen asks the questions. And Gia's like, Tio Joe, never said that. Instead, I said to you, I know that a lot is going on. I heard about what happened at the finale. You and Louis almost got into a fight. Please don't let this spill over into the wedding. Will you please come to the wedding? Your mom's only family member that she has left. And I know that this will mean the world to her. That is Gia's side of the story. But also, you want to ask yourself, what dog does Gia have in the fight? But then also, you know, in your heart, you would do anything to protect your mother. So if I have to sit there and if I have to lie to make my mother sound better because I know that I'm being recorded and this is about to be on national television, I will swallow that shit up and make sure my mom looks amazing before I sit there and bash her and make her look stupid on TV.
The thing too is the stories from each side, like the stories that are told are so far-fetched and so far from like each other's other truth. You know, like Teresa says one thing, it's over here. Joe says one thing, it's over here. There's nothing that's ever like a misunderstanding. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's so far from left field. But yeah, I understand Gia wanting to have a say or wanting to be. I just let they're siblings. Like never would my niece or nephew chime in.
No, I agree. And also, for those of you guys who don't know, Jacqueline Laurita was also brought up at the reunion. This gets a little bit interesting because we know that Teresa Giudice met up with Jacqueline Laurita in, it was in Nevada, in Vegas somewhere, because that's where she lives now. So they made amends, but now her name is being dragged through the reunion floor. Hold on. The reunion was chaotic. There was a point that Jacqueline Laurita gets brought into it. And Teresa Giudice reveals that Jacqueline told her that Joe Gorga would speak to Joe Giudice's ex-business partner, and he is a part of the reason that Joe Giudice went to jail. Wow. Well, that's new information. Jacqueline had confirmed to Teresa when they reunited that Joe Gorga spoke to Joe Giudice's business partner, who was suing Teresa and Joe Giudice at the time, and Andy had asked Teresa if she believed what Jacqueline was saying. Teresa told Andy that she did because her brother hated Joe and that maybe he didn't mean to hurt Teresa, but he hated Joe and that's why he did it. Now, if in fact that is true, we have to remember Teresa left Joe because the final straw that broke the camel's back was after her mother passed away, and she lost that extra time with her mother because she spent 11 and a half months behind bars. Right. Now, come to find out that might be Joe Gorga's fault. Well, not his fault, but the rat, so to speak, the word that you don't say in Jersey.
Yikes.
I mean,
yikes. I mean, listen, what do you think is going to happen at the reunion? Like, what are we going to get? Is it going to be more of the never-ending story? Because I feel like that's all this is, right?
No.
It's the reason we keep watching, but it's also like getting old.
No, it's not more of the same story because we have these blurry-ass photos. We have Jennifer Aiden and Margaret Josephs who actually were able to make amends.
And that's fine. And I told you that I actually like them better as friends than as enemies. And I think what they like to do, especially in this current season, is kind of just pick at each other, and it's funny till it's not. And I like that. I'm glad they're making amends. That needs to happen. We know why. We've talked about this. But what is going to happen with Teresa and Joe and Melissa? Are we going to carry this on another season? There's never any kind of makeup. There's never any kind of redemption. There's nothing.
Well, this was also mentioned. Where do things end with Melissa and Teresa Giudice? Thank you to All About the Real Housewives. Their source said they are 100% done. Teresa has never went on Melissa Gorga like she did at this reunion, and it was because when they had problems, Teresa's parents were alive, and she wanted to keep the peace and not escalate it when things were already bad. With Teresa's parents gone, she is tired of the lies and narrative being controlled by Melissa Gorga at her expense. Teresa told Andy that she is 100% done with Melissa and Joe Gorga, but she wishes them well.